Hey guys, Five here with another FIFA 20 ratings predictions. This time we've got Arsenal, meaning that on Tuesday we will be having Spurs. So, let's get right into this one. Kicking it off with obviously the defence and working our way through up to the attack. So, in goal we have got Bernd Leno, 84 rated. I think he will stay at an 84 rated. He had an okay season last year, obviously not keeping many clean sheets. The defence in front of him isn't the best, so you wouldn't expect him to keep that many clean sheets. But I think he did well for his first season in the Premier League, and I think it's fair enough to keep him at an 84. I don't think a downgrade is needed. And yeah, I think he had 6 clean sheets, so it's not too bad, but it's obviously not the best. But he should be able to keep a couple more than that this season. Obviously the defence for Arsenal still isn't that good, but I think it's his second season now. He'll know how tough it is. He'll know he needs to up his game a bit more. And yeah, so Leno, we've gone for a no upgrade or no downgrade. We're keeping him at an 84. Another player getting no upgrade or downgrade is Kolasinac. He had pretty much a very similar season to the one he had before, but this time he got, I think, less assists. I think he got a couple less assists, but I don't see that as a downgrade really. I think he played okay. Yeah, not much to say about Kolasinac. But moving on is a new signing of Arsenal. It is Kieran Tierney, coming in from Celtic. He had a couple of successful years at Celtic, obviously won the treble, and for that, I think getting a big move to Arsenal. He is a young Scottish talent, probably one of their best players, maybe just behind Andrew Robertson. I think he plays consistently for Scotland. He's currently injured right now, so he's not actually played for Arsenal yet, but I think you take all of those things in, he's got high potential, new big club, top 6 club, for a decent transfer fee. I think you take all that into consideration. He deserves an upgrade to a 79, and unfortunately I couldn't find a picture of him in an Arsenal kit on the Premier League website for some reason. It just didn't show up when I searched it. But yeah, the first upgrade is Kieran Tierney, +3 to a 79. Moving on, we've gone for Nacho Monreal. He is getting on in age, and his performances are getting lesser and lesser, not as good. And he was an 80 last year. I think he will go down to a 78 for this year, -2 downgrade. Just again, age, left backs, wing backs is a difficult position, basically, because you've got to be quick and you've got to be good at defending. And Monreal isn't the quickest. So if he's getting forward, he's going to struggle to get back, is what I'm saying. And against Liverpool yesterday, a lot of their attacks came down that left-hand side with Mo Salah. Well, Arsenal's left, Liverpool's right. Mo Salah got 2 goals coming in from that right-hand side, and it worked out for him. So I think Monreal downgrade is expected, basically. Socrates, I've given him a downgrade to an 83. Again, very similar to Leno. Leno couldn't do that much in goal. In a one-on-one, you expect the striker to score, basically. But it's the defender's fault if it gets to the one-on-one. So you could say give him a 0, keeping it at 84, because it's similar reasons to Leno. But I think it's fair enough to give him a 83. He's getting on in age. He didn't have the best of years. He looked a bit clumsy sometimes on the ball when I watched him, personally. And yeah, I think it's fair. I think a 83 is fair for Socrates. Move on to some more defenders. First of which being another one of their new signings, David Luiz. He was at fault for 2 of the goals yesterday against Liverpool, both of which were Mo Salah goals. So I thank him for getting me points for my fantasy team. But I've given him a downgrade, purely based on the age. He's been obviously he's well known for his little blips, his little random acts of silliness, which he had one yesterday, tugging on Salah's shirt. So I think if you take all of those into consideration and his age, I think a -1 to an 82 is fair enough for him. Now, Mustafi. Probably Arsenal's worst defender, worst centre-back. And we've given him a -2 to an 80. That is what the same rating as Sacco from Crystal Palace had on this FIFA. And I think that's fair. I'd say he's similar level to Sacco. And yeah, we're going to keep him at an 80. Moving on, we finally got an upgrade. We had 4 downgrades in a row. We've got an upgrade. And that is to Rob Holding. Had a very good start to the season last year. He got injured. But I think the performances he put in whilst he was fit and playing, I think they were good enough for a +3 to a 77, putting him into a gold card. So I congratulate him for that one. Moving on, Hector Bellerin. Hector Bellerin, probably if I had to pick an Arsenal player to be my favourite Arsenal player, I'm a Chelsea fan, but if I had to pick an Arsenal player to be my favourite, it'd probably be Hector Bellerin. Personally, I think he should be the captain of Arsenal. Off the pitch, he talks about stuff that most captains wouldn't talk about. So he's a very good leader off the pitch on social media. He talked about, I think he's just off the pitch, he's very good. And on the pitch, I think he can be a good leader as well. When he played last year, he got 5 assists, which was more than he got in the previous 2 seasons. And he was injured for half the season, only playing 19 games. So I think a +1, purely based on the fact that he did better he got more assists in the 19 games he played last season than he did in all the other games he played in the previous 2 seasons. So a +1 to an 81 I think is fair. Now the man that covered for him at right back, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, he was a 71 rated centre mid last year. On this year I think it will be a 77 rated right wing back. He's been okay, he's covered for a position where he's not natural in. You know, he's if anything, he's more of a winger than a right back, but he's just been forced to play there due to the injury. I think when Hector Bellerin comes back, he should be able to have more freedom actually playing at right wing instead of being forced to come back and defend, which I think he should improve even further then, but I think he's done good for playing in a position he's not natural in, basically. So we move on to the midfield. Next up is Torreira. Now Torreira was another one who was very good he was okay last season. He signed from Sampdoria, I think it was, in Italy. Put in a good performance, got compared to Kante, and then he slowed down. And then Kante in the Europa League, an injured Kante, outperformed him, outshined him, and he came off crying. So I think a +1 is fair. He did okay. Not the best, not the worst, basically. So I think an 83 is fair for Torreira. Moving on. A signing they've got on loan from Real Madrid is Dani Ceballos. He got an upgrade from a 79 to an 81 last year. And in last season, he played quite a lot of games for Real Madrid, I do believe, obviously being subbed on and off. He won some tournament with the Spanish youth team, the under-21s or under something. He won the Euros, I think, with them. And he's got a big signing to Arsenal. It might not be on a permanent, but on the games he's played so far, he's probably been their best player in a few of them, especially against Burnley. He was definitely their best player in that one. So I think it's fair to give him a +2 to an 83. Moving on, the shining youth product from Arsenal. Well, not from Arsenal. Arsenal's shining youth player is Guendouzi. Came from Ligue 2. Came from basically out of nowhere. Signed him up, put him in the first team, and he did very, very, very well. He's a player, if he keeps up this kind of performances, bigger clubs are going to come in and sign him, nick him from Arsenal. Could play for a Barcelona or a Real Madrid. His potential is that high, I personally think. I think he's got a high potential, probably the highest at Arsenal. And yeah, I think it's fair to give him a gold card, a +9, from a 67 to a 76. Moving on, Granit Xhaka. Is he that good? I don't rate him. I think he's a poor man's Jorginho and a poor man's Rodri, basically. So I've given him a -1 to an 80. Quick as we get away from that one, the better. Moving on to Mesut Ozil. what has happened to Mesut Ozil? He was brilliant a couple of seasons ago under Wenger, and then he just slowly got worse and worse each season that's gone by. He was an 86 last year. I'm going to give him a -2 to an 84. Just nowhere near as good as he should be. You know, he should be Arsenal's best player, but he's not. And he didn't play last. He hasn't. I don't think he's played this season. Just shows how much Unai Emery rates him. Not even good enough to get into the first team. So yeah, I think an 82, -2 to an 84 is fair for Ozil. As we move on to the final midfielder and the attacking players. The final midfielder is Henrik Mkhitaryan. 84, we've done a -3 to an 81. And his performance for Arsenal have been so bad that you have to question who got the better end of the deal. Manchester United with Sanchez or Arsenal with Mkhitaryan. That's how bad he's been over the past couple of years. The past 2 years. Year and a half? 2 years? I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I think it's 2 years. But he's just not been that good for a while now. And from going, he was one of Dortmund's best players. Came to England, and he could never really got it going like he did at Dortmund, unfortunately for him. But moving on to a player that did get it going last season, Nicolas Pepe. We haven't had him in our Leo career mode, if you remember that. If you haven't watched that, go back and watch it. But Pepe, he was had a class season last year. I think he got 20 odd goals for playing on the right wing. So surely that deserves an upgrade. He got an upgrade mid-season last season to a 79. I'm going to give him a +4 to an 83. He played well against Liverpool yesterday. It's just his finishing wasn't quite there. If his finishing was there, he would have got a goal. When he nicked the ball off of Henderson, that should have been a goal, basically. But it wasn't. Poor finishing in the end from him. Didn't get his finishing from last season. Needs his shooting boots on. But we move on to another player who came from Ligue 1. From Lyon, I think Lacazette came from a couple seasons ago. And he has got a +1 to an 86. This could be maybe an 87, but the partnership between him and Aubameyang last season was very good. And I think it's fair enough to say an 86 or an 87 is good enough for him. I think he got an upgrade last season from an 84 to an 85. So if you continue that, if you continue the season very well last year. So yeah, he got quite a few assists, quite a few goals. Fair enough to say an 86 is fair. Moving on, Arsenal's best. So Ozil should be Arsenal's best player. Aubameyang is Arsenal's best player. Best finisher. Golden Boot last year. What are you going to give him? He got an upgrade from an 87 to an 88. I think he'll get another upgrade to an 89. So giving him the 89 shows that he is not as good as Aguero, who we gave a 90. But I think it shows he is better than all the other strikers from the teams we've picked, which I think is fair. And we also gave Manny an 88, and we gave Salah a 90, and they were the other two top goal scorers last season. So I think he fits in perfectly there with an 89 rated card. Moving on to the final player, coming back from his loan from Hoffenheim, is Reiss Nelson. We've given him a +9 to a 74. Got quite a few goals last season for Hoffenheim. I think he got injured though, which slowed down his development slightly. But he's looked decent in the Arsenal squad this season. And yeah, that was it. Let's quickly go back over the ratings and end the episode there, meaning that Tuesday you've got Spurs to look forward to. So let's go over them. So we've got Leno 84, Kolasinac 80, Tierney 79, Monreal 78, Socrates 83, Louise 82, Mustafi 80, Holding 77, Bellerin 81, Maitland-Niles 77, Torreira 83, Ceballos 83, Guendouzi 76, Xhaka 80, Ozil 84, Mkhitaryan 81, Pepe 83, Lacazette 86, Aubameyang 89, and Nelson 74. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please like, subscribe, and peace.